Hello and welcome to Channels Sports on Sunday. I'm Cecilia Omogbe. On the show today, of course, is the D-Day, is the FIFA World Cup in Qatar. Finally starting today, the opening match. It's going to be 5 p.m. Nigeria time between Ecuador and Qatar. We'll be having a comprehensive preview of that. And also, we'll talk about updates coming from Henry Nwonsu. What's he up to this time around? Yes, he started walking, he started eating, improvement, a whole lot, especially with the support of so many Nigerians coming to his aid. Also, today is the World Children's Day, and of course, UNICEF is also celebrating that. And on Saturday, a lot of activities was actually held for the children in Lagos. We'll also talk about that. And of course, the FIFA World Cup, yes, it's get our attention, and that's what we're starting with. Karim Benzema is out of the French national team World Cup. It simply means no, the World Footballer of the Year, Karim Benzema, is out of the World Cup. Of course, the African Player of the Year is also out of the FIFA World Cup. It's going to be a very interesting World Cup, especially with the plethora of injuries to key players from major teams. Also, African legends have been talking about the teams in Africa that will at least maybe make it to the finals of the FIFA World Cup, and our support can be given to African referees to see how far they can also take their countries, especially at the World Cup. Yes, we'll touch down on the friendly between Nigeria and Portugal. Yes, it was 4-0, but we'll also talk about that, the fallout from that particular game. Ken Chonongo, as usual, is in London, will be joining me. Of course, Okpeyemi Ajala, he's in Doha in Qatar. He will also watch the opening match of the FIFA World Cup. He will also be joining us right here in the joining us via Zoom. But right here in the studio, of course, Agmola Theophilus is with me in Lagos studio.
Yeah. Good afternoon,
Hi.
Cecilia. You're stuck with me today.
Yes, I'm stuck with you. I didn't have a choice, right?
It's good to be here again.
Yeah, great to have you. Okay, let's get on with it. Yes, it's the D-Day. It's the FIFA World Cup in Qatar. The excitement is palpable. Yes, Nigeria is not there, but a whole lot of things are currently going on. And of course, here on the program, we'll give you updates of everything that is going down right there in Qatar, starting with how the fans are feeling. Is a frenzy, is a fanfare. I mean, on the eve of the World Cup on Saturday, fans had to queue for hours trying to get the ticket for the opening game. But then early hours of today, and also last night, a lot of fans were arriving. The Argentine fans, the ones from Ecuador, Mexican fans, all of them arriving, just happy that, yes, their countries were able to make it to the World Cup. And, of course, they're ready for the opening game.
Like you
would want to be here, right?
Okay. Exactly, definitely. Like, that's what I was going to ask. Who wouldn't want to be here? Okpeye had to go all the way down, just to see this. And, of course, it's the biggest tournament in the world, talking about the FIFA World Cup. And so much frenzy, so much drama. Yes, the build-up to the World Cup, we saw how it all was. But when we are at the tournament itself, now it's starting today. I've looked forward to this World Cup for the past 4 years, and you can imagine everybody that has every fan that is right there in Qatar that has their country at the World Cup. You look at how they are feeling. You could see the excitement on their faces. And of course, from what I even found out, I discovered that a couple of teams have sold out tickets, like Argentina for one. All the seats are sold out already, So they were the first team to do that. You can imagine how many people poured into Qatar. I mean, it's a frenzy, and obviously I would have loved to be there. But then again, like I said, I'm stuck here with you.
Yeah, yes,
I'll make do with that.
All right, let's listen to a particular Mexican fan that is really happy despite the controversies surrounding the World Cup, especially what the Western world are saying. But then so many people care about that, especially with the human rights issues. But then the FIFA World Cup is here and it's in Qatar, and they are given a fantastic atmosphere to all the fans that right there in Doha waiting for the opening ceremony.
It's been a very controversial country right now, but hopefully things turn out great. Everything right now is being pretty great with the people working, and I feel like it's going to bring a lot of joy to the country and to people to see that Qatar is not only controversy, because there's been a lot of issues with the working, with a lot, but football is going to bring what they're looking for, which is joy and peace.
All right, I mean, that's a Mexican fan right there happy and excited there that he was able to make it down to Doha. Some of them have to travel many kilometers just to be there to cheer up their team. Talking about fans and also those who are cheering their teams, there are some fans who their countries did not qualify, just like right here in Nigeria, Bangladesh, India, some of these people, their countries didn't qualify, but that did not really stop them, you know, from choosing a team to support. I'm going to ask Theo, for you, which teams are you actually rooting for? I said teams, not one. Maybe you can have 2, 3, but not more than 3, actually.
Well, I'll go with, from Africa, I'll go with Morocco.
Okay, Morocco, that's your team.
Yeah,
okay?
I'll go Morocco. I would love to see, I hope they go far.
Okay.
I'd love to see Ashraf Hakimi, and that's his explosive pace down the right flank. I'd love to see him really go far in the tournament. Then, I think anybody that knows me knows the team I actually
Barcelona.
want. Exactly, and I want Argentina to go all the way. It's Lionel Messi and possibly Cristiano Ronaldo, possibly their last World Cups. And obviously, I think people say football owes it to these guys. At least one of them has to lift the World Cup to at least put that debate of who the greatest is to rest. Although I know who the greatest is anyway, but I obviously want Argentina to win the World Cup. And it's been a frenzy. When Messi arrived in Qatar, everybody went gaga. You know, he's an icon, he's a legend, and of course, with Cristiano Ronaldo as well. But then again, Morocco and Argentina, if you ask me.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see pictures of the fans, you know, donning different jerseys, different colors. Yes, the countries may not be there, but then they want to put our support, and that's why FIFA President Gianni Infantino is talking about those who feel, yes, you can, because you're not from a particular country, you can support a particular team. He feels, look, everybody, I mean, you have the right to support any team you want to. For me, you don't have to ask me who I'm supporting. I used to be Senegal, but with Sadio Mane going, I actually love the winning teams. When your team is winning, yes, that's when you're happy.
Oh, okay.
I mean, you're smiling and everything. But from all indication, just look at these guys, and if you see their color, I mean, the way they look,
you obviously know these guys
are South American.
They're not from South America at all.
Look at the jerseys they're putting on. I mean, they're going for Argentina. I mean, these ones are going for Portugal.
Yes.
You just look at different teams. I mean, this could be Iran's, and they can't be Iranian because Iran is actually there. They could be from Pakistan or any other country, or maybe Bangladesh or something. But then they've got a
from
team
Iran and support.
they are cheering for.
Because, see, I know a lot of people at the last World Cup. Nigeria played Argentina. I know Nigeria was supporting Argentina on that day. That's the beauty of the game. Cristiano Ronaldo has over 100 million followers on Instagram. How many million people are in the whole of Portugal? So it means that quite the number of fans come from outside of his country. So going to the World Cup, trust me, you will see a lot of fans, regardless of their nationality, regardless of their creed or their color or whatever. They will support their favorite teams. And that's the beauty of football. That's the beauty of the game. It brings everybody together, regardless of where you are from. So this is exciting to watch, it's exciting to see, and this is what makes it the greatest competition in the world.
That's why it's the World Cup frenzy. It's all about football. FIFA President Gianni Infantino has a message to those criticizing those fans who are supporting other countries.
They were happy when the teams come. And when the teams come, they go to see the teams. And what do I read? Well, these people, they don't look like English. They shouldn't cheer for English because they look like Indians. I mean, what is that? Can somebody who looks like an Indian not cheer for England or for Spain or for Germany? You know what this is? This is racism. This is pure racism. And we have to stop that. Because everyone in the world has the right to cheer for who he wants.
Yeah, that's the message right there. It's quite clear. So if you're still one of those that are telling people you don't have to support a particular team because it's not your country, well, you have to think twice, because according to Gianni Infantino, it is racism. Don't do that again, right? So because we've got the teams that we're supporting. Brazil is another team I also want to. I just love the talent.
Yeah.
I love the talent. Yes, if they don't win anything now, they can also do it in another World Cup. That's why people are rooting for the likes of Cristiano and, of course, Lionel Messi. But the excitement, I can't wait for them to actually play their first game, really. I can't wait for the Brazilian team, really. But
everybody looks forward to Brazil. I don't think any other team epitomizes what the World Cup is all about, other than the Samba Boys of Brazil. From the way they even line up to the way they play, the excitement that they bring on the pitch whenever they step out to play is really electric, if you ask me. And then, like you talked about it, that front line. I want to see how they will line up. That they will line up in front, because in as much as I'm still skeptical about their defense, although they have a very fantastic, or two fantastic goalkeepers, but their front line, I don't think any defender would want to come up against the likes of Neymar and the other musketeers that will be joining him. But obviously, like you said, Brazil are a team to watch out for at this World Cup. Yeah,
we'll talk about Brazil later because they arrived today. But before that, let's quickly give you these adversaries coming from, the Qatar embassy, what Nigerians should note concerning traveling to Qatar. So if you're planning to actually make a trip, according to them, the visa that you have will not allow you to work or anything. It's just for the tournament. This is the advisory, coming from the Qatar embassy, saying Nigerians are traveling for the Qatar 2022 FIFA World Cup advised to comply with the rules and regulations of the country. So the embassy wishes to strongly advise that Nigerian fans traveling for the fiesta should endeavor to obey and respect the laws of the land, and also while they're in Qatar, and ensure that they comply with all relevant guidelines requirements for visiting fans before embarking on any trip. And furthermore, it says that the embassy wishes to state that the special World Cup visa called hire card and entry permit cannot and will not be changed or transferred to work visa or permit. Nigerians should therefore not fall victim to scrupulous elements spreading fake news in that regard to rip off innocent Nigerians. On a final note, the embassy, of course, is encouraging all visiting fans to enjoy the best experience at the World Cup. So if you haven't left and you're planning to go, please take note of this, and then obviously you will be safe. When you're in a country that you're not from, you have to obey the rules of the land. They've got their laws, they've got the rules, and of course they want everyone to abide by it. And the visa issue, you understand that yes, you're going there for the FIFA World Cup and nothing else. So when you're done, please come back home and respect the country that you visit. And also, have a good, project Nigerian image in a good light while you are there in Qatar watching the World Cup.
See, if you ask me, I know it's a thing. It's been heard of, although I can't confirm. But it's not. We wouldn't say when I heard the fact that you want to go for a tournament, I use that as an opportunity to, in quotes, go missing or jackpot as the word. This is not it. This is the FIFA World Cup. It's holding in Qatar, and this is when you are in Rome. You behave like the Romans. When they have their cultures, they have their traditions, you respect them. They welcome you into their homes. You go there, you support your team, abide by their rules and regulations, enjoy yourself, don't do past yourself. And then you are done, respectfully go back to the airport, watch your flight. Or however, if you flew there or you...
You trek.
You anyhow, you swing, find your way back out of the country. Do not mistake the opportunity to go and watch the World Cup as a means to go and apply or try and get a job there or something. No, this is not a work permit. This is a special visa granted to you to watch the FIFA World Cup. These are a lot of the things that a lot of countries that host tournaments like this have to deal with, and obviously we know why some people want to do this. But please don't let anybody take advantage of you whilst you are there, promising you things that are not going to happen. Because if he says, well, the Lord is our muscle.
So just take that advice from Theophilus this afternoon. All right, now let's talk about players who will be missing at the World Cup. 2 weeks ago, we talked about players that will not be there, and there's so many names, and now you have it. It's piling up every day. Nkuku, of course, that's happened during the week. And then the latest is Karim Benzema, the Ballon d'Or winner and World Player of the Year, European Player of the Year. He will not be at the FIFA World Cup. He's out of the French national team. Sustained the injury during training. Yes, there was issues that he may he will not play the game on Tuesday.
Yes.
But right now he's out totally, completely.
Yes.
He will not be there. And a player has been cut up. Okay, and you know him. I mean, I'm like, finally, he's going to the World Cup.
You know,
Martial is going to the World Cup. I
Martial.
believe all Manchester United fans will be happy for him. He is finally going to the World Cup, but then at the detriment of the big boy, Karim. Karim hasn't been with the national team for a while,
yes,
simply because of the issues he had with the former coach and also his teammates, morality-wise and everything. He was facing some issues concerning some other issues. I mean, a whole lot that went down at that time, legal cases and everything. But this year was finally recalled to the national team and was thinking of making the World Cup. And right now, he's 34, right?
Yes.
He's out. So it's, I mean, so some things happen and you ask,
God, why?
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 You want to ask, what is this?
It's really...
Ken is ready to join us from... Ken, I don't know if you've gone to Doha or you're still in London. You're going to tell me that. But where is in Doha in Qatar. So, Ken, good afternoon. How are you doing?
Yeah, we're fine. We're fine. We're doing well, and you guys are like you're having a ball right there in the studio. You're having a ball. We are cool. We are cool.
Okay, great to have you. Okpeyemi, if he's ready, he will also be joining us. He's in Doha in Qatar. He's ready to watch the opening game. I'm jealous right now. but then, before he joins us, Ken, I mean, we've talked about so many stories. The fans that are in Qatar happy and ready to be there, and of course talked about Nigerians traveling, what they need to do, and of course things they need to avoid. Yes, Okpeyemi Ajala is ready to join us. Okpeyemi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Sisi.
Yeah, it's great to have you. All right, okay. I believe
you're done in a Brazilian jersey. Ope told me that he'll be rooting for Holland. All of a sudden, he's very I don't understand.
The Mexicans are all over here. It's more of a coincidence because 2018, I was here, not dry, in Dubai. You know, the Formula One season ends today. So the atmosphere, the Verstappen fans in 2018 were awesome. So I told my wife, she said she wants to see us, and we are here today. So it's for a 2-for-1 package. We have Formula One today. You have Verstappen fans all over the place. And you have Mexican football fans all over the place here today. So I think it's an Arabian World Cup.
You're having a ball, I can see, fired up. Now, quickly, let's touch down on this one. I mean, Karim Benzema is out of the World Cup. Antonio Martial has been called to replace him. What do you think?
Yes, that is the cause of the World Cup for Karim Benzema. He was also, by now, he should have the world title ascribed to his name, but unfortunately, due to his personal endeavor, he missed out from the glory in Russia. And now, when he's the greatest player on the planet, as we speak, the Ballon d'Or winner, the injury, and you know, we said this is an unusual World Cup. We have players that will get injured up to the 1-1 period. So it's a very sad one that the greatest footballing tournament will be without the greatest footballer now as we speak. I think that is a minus for the World Cup. This is the first World Cup after Diego Maradona passed on, and now we don't have the greatest player as we speak. So it's a minus, but we'll move on. After, George Weah never appeared at the World Cup, but his son is there for the United States.
Interesting. Ken, Antonio Martial has been called up to replace him. How lucky is that boy? Because, I mean, it's more like, yes, he's a French. How many people even remember him as a French player? Because he hardly makes the team.
For Antonio Martial, I think it's a dream come true. 4 years ago, he would have been there. Then something happened. I think the change of guard of coaches in Manchester United then, and he lost his place. I think he was also having some emotional issues because had issues with his wife. A young man, when he got to England, he came with a wife so early, he married, and then when he had doing that, it did not now affected him and his performance. So him not going to the World Cup in 2018 when he was part of the build-up, I think was something that will have caused some psychological trauma on him. This time around, he's been down, but he started picking his form. So actually, when Christopher Nkunku was got injured, some of us said, why not Martial? Why not Martial? The problem was okay. Well, maybe we also remember we talk about in Nigeria. one of Ike Shoromo was always having that. When it was time for major tournaments on, for the Super Eagles, the guy would just, crop up one injury or the other. So this was like, I think it's a pleasant surprise for Marshall and also for Manchester United fans, because that will be adding a $10,000 to the kitty of Manchester United every day. I think that will be the 17th Manchester United player that will be at the tournament. This is what we miss in Africa. This is what we miss because our leagues are not good. Our best players go to play in Europe and other places. About 17 players are representing Manchester at the World Cup now. But FIFA said we are going to pay you $10,000 per player per day that they are going to be there. So for every day that starting from where the preparation that they've been in Qatar before the World Cup start, that Manchester United will be collecting $170,000. So in 10 days, that is 1.7 million. That's 1.7 million. So it tells you that this is what clubs say. Look, the clubs, you are playing your part. So like Karim Benzema have just incurred injury, not playing for his club. So the club will be the one to face it. So this is part of the way first let us balance the books. If you contribute, as long as you are putting part of those who are contributing to the cooking of the soup, when they are sharing the meat. So a little part of it will also be given to you, as part of that. If you sow, then you will reap at the end of the day. But for Marshall, I think it's a dream come true. It would have been like the Denmark team in 1992, who said, look, we've not qualified for the Euros. Let us go and enjoy ourselves in the sunshine. And then just one phone call, they came back, and then the rest, they say, is history.
It's history. Yeah, an interesting one right there. I think Barcelona will definitely be the club that will smile to the bank. They've got 18 players at the World Cup. They're broke, so I think FIFA money will obviously help them out this time around.
That is courtesy of their coach. I don't know whether he's more Barcelona than Madrid, or but then the Catalans will say, okay, fine, let us give him his due. We are saying a lot of the players he picked, people are saying he's just Barcelona tinted. Well, Barcelona, they are topping the league, whether by or by any means they are there. So probably that is why he looked in their direction. Maybe it is not the DNA, it is the current performance that kind of influenced his choice of players that will be representing Spain.
Ken, I think if we really want to look at the Barcelona breakdown, I think there are 5 or just 6 players from Barcelona that will be going to the World Cup. We have more foreign players in the Barca setup. Frankie de Jong, Memphis Depay, Dutch. Christensen, Danish. Araujo, Uruguay. Marc-André ter Stegen, Germany. Robert Lewandowski, Poland. I really do not think Luis Enrique tilted towards Barcelona. But then again, Barca is a big club. You really cannot blame them, if their players are going to the World Cup.
Theo, big clubs don't play in the Europa League. I think we have to move on. We can't discuss as the Dutch-Barcelona relationship from the days of their great coach that brought Johan Cruyff there. You could recall at the 1974 World Cup, the coach had to leave after they won the semi-final, had to leave Germany to go to Spain for the FA Cup final, which of course they lost again to Madrid 4-0. So the relationship between the Dutch and the Catalans, that will always account for the numbers of Barcelona players in any major championship that affects European clubs. So I think that is where the Barcelona flavor is coming from. But whether they're a big club now, they are sitting pretty well on the La Liga standing, but big clubs don't play in the Europa League.
Okay, big clubs don't play in Europa League.
I'll remind you.
We'll remind you, obviously. All right, but if you check the Europa League right now, you have Juventus, you have Man United, you have Barcelona, you have Atletico Madrid. Okay, and they've all won the UEFA Champions League. Okay, yeah, we'll leave that. Just let's leave the big clubs that are playing the Europa League right now. We're still talking about the FIFA World Cup. Brazil happens to be the latest team to arrive. They arrived late last night in Doha in Qatar, went to their hotel. Of course, the frenzy that greeted their arrival, it's something you look at and you say, okay, from all indication, from the arrival, from the airport authorities, everyone, the way the Brazilian fans, the Brazilian players were greeted, you know that, yes, ever present at the World Cup, 22nd appearance. They've never missed out. I think they're the only country that have never, ever missed out of the FIFA World Cup. They've won it twice. Also, the most successful teams at the World Cup. They're going for the assist title, and Neymar and the likes of Richarlison, the likes of Dani Alves, of course, is leading this team. And from the feelers that we read coming from Brazil is the fact that Dani Alves may not play. The reason why he's going to the World Cup is to actually
charge up the players.
No, to manage Neymar.
Manage Neymar.
Yes. Well, he's to babysit Neymar. because the last World Cup that he hasn't been there, the last two when they were beaten 7-1 by Germany, and of course the last two, 2018, where he was rolling everywhere. I mean, because it's a meme where he's rolling all over the globe whenever he's touched. That's Dani Alves right there, the big boy. I mean, Fred also is also going to surprisingly, yes, Fred is part of that team. And should they win it, it's going to be historic for most of the players that they're going to for their first World Cup. Some have been there before, but the experience and the youth they blend together, it's something we really want to talk about this afternoon. Okay, I mean, you go first. I mean, the Brazilian national team, yes, they've arrived. Firmino is not there. But Neymar, of course, is leading the party. Richarlison leading the party. Vinicius Jr. is also there. Rodri is there. I mean, it's a full squad, full-fledged squad. And we talked about how envious we are when it comes to their front line and also the goalkeepers that they have.
Thanks, Sisi. But again, for the Brazilians, for all the talent they've got, the last week we spoke about the aging defense for the Brazilian, and the argument was you need a very strong and dynamic defense to give you the championship. But what most people are not looking at for this Brazilian squad is the self-destruct button always associated with the Dutch. And I'll tell you this, their coach Tite has been getting emerged in political talks. Recall they just had their election, which the former President Lula won marginally. But the current incumbent President Bolsonaro is someone that the coach never support. And if you go back history, where we have frictions between president and national team coaches, the coaches never end well. And you could recall their most successful side in 1970. Their coach, a former player who was brought as a journalist so that he could placate journalists in Brazil were so critical national team, was sacked just some weeks to the World Cup. And that was where Zagallo came in, because he was daring the military dictator then, who said a certain player, Dario, needs to come in. So what the president did was to use the excuse of him saying Pele was going blind to kick him out of the team. So I think that is the part Tite is going this way, and some players are actually for the president, while some are not. So you don't have there is no unity in this current Brazilian squad. That's what politics.
Let me, Ken, please, before you come in, we'll need to go on a short break. We'll be back to you after this.
Du spielst hart, oder?
Vamos, Argentina.
Excuse me.
Gracias.
Suerte, Ecuador.
Gracias.
¿Vale? ¿Te parece?
Welcome back. We are now 3 in Lagos studio. Of course, Jimmy Ogulano is right here. It's a World Cup day. I believe that's why he found his way to the studio. I was going to ask him, did you lose your way or how did you get here? Jimmy Kato,
yeah, great pleasure to be here. And I think I want to be a little bit forward. Happy birthday to the sporting engineer himself, Ken Ochonogo. Was his birthday yesterday.
Yeah.
And, it's also fantastic seeing Okpe right there. Qatar was in Brazil in 2014, so I know what the excitement is about, and it's great to be back here.
Yeah, it's great to have you. We're happy that you finally found your way here. Thank you. All right, I mean, you were going to come in discussing politics. We're not going to talk about Jimmy. You're going to continue what you were going to say. We'll take things outside the studio.
Okpe was talking about, the division in the House of, presumably for the Brazilian, based on, those of them who are loyal to one president or the other. But I just wanted maybe Okpe missed something somewhere, because in 2002 World Cup, you remember the Romario issue, where the president, came in and waded in and said, "Look, guy, Romario is playing well. He must be part. Why he is not part of the team?" The Brazilian people are saying Romario should be part of the team, but Felipe Scolari told them that, guy, when I came in, when I was appointed, the team was doing badly. We were at the verge of not qualifying. I went to meet Romario. I pleaded with him, said, "Romario, come and be part of the." Romario said he was injured, that he was not going to play. 2 days later, Romario was playing for his club. You understand? So it was when the team started doing well that Romario now indicated interest that he wanted to be part of the team. If he was not there while we were cooking the food, why will he be there when we are sharing? And that was why, so going into that 2002 World Cup, Felipe Scolari and the president did not see eye to eye, because at a point, Scolari was even quoted as having told him, "Man, your job is to rule the country, to govern the country. Mine is to manage the Brazilian national team. Do your job, let me do mine." And he did his job so well that without the great Romario de Farias, that Brazil also picked their 5th World Cup away. They've hosted twice. They lost twice, 1930, 1950, and the last one that Tim was talking about, when the Germans did them something at home. And then 5 times they won it. All 5 times they won it outside their country. Germany with 4 have won it at home. Italy has won it at home. Brazil has never won it at home. They've hosted twice. The Mexicans have hosted twice. They've not won it at all. So that is such history. But that's what is going to happen this time. If at the Brazilian we get there, they are the favorites from what we are seeing based on the attack. But the also said that their defense is a bit suspect. Let's see if the attack can be. So the attack is the best form of defense. We will let us see whether they are going to apply that, and that will take them to the El Dorado.
All right, Jimmy, I mean, you joined us on the program. Quickly on the Brazilian national team, the fact that Daniel Alves is going, and what we learned is the fact that he will not be playing, but the babysit Neymar. And of course, how far can this team go?
Well, I feel that the Brazilians, they got the probably the best complement of players right now. When you consider the fact that they've got players, ranging from the defense line, the midfield, the attack line, and definitely 2 of the greatest goalkeepers we have currently playing that trade. But I feel that just like everybody knows, the defense of the Brazilians are actually, aging. But the truth has got to be said, when the attack comes at you, I think I agree with Ken Ochonogo when he says that when the attack comes at you, then it becomes absolutely impossible to contain the attack. You look at what they've got in attack, and you think that the experience of those at the back should, at least complement for a lot. But when they go against the likes of maybe France, if France had the full complement of their players, I think I'll be a little bit scared. But averagely, if you look at what all the other teams have got going for them, I think the Brazilians are in a good place to win this.
Interesting. So you think so too, right?
Well,
winning it, but I know you're not rooting for them.
Let's look at like
based on analysis.
Yeah, exactly, based on analysis. The attack is splendid. These guys, they have enough firepower to put away any defense. But like even without the full complement of the French attack. I'm looking at an Antoine Griezmann, Kylian Mbappe, and Ousmane Dembele coming up against that Brazilian defense.
Of the midfield. The likes of Nkunku not being there,
yes,
Pogba,
yes.
also
N'Golo
Kante.
Yes, I think well, Camavinga, Rabiot, we'll see them come to the fore. Let's not forget, it was because what's his name now, the former German captain that led them in 2006, he didn't go to the World Cup. Michael Ballack didn't go to the World Cup in 2010. We saw the emergence of the Mesut Ozil and Sami Khedira. So I think, well, your star players might not go. Other players might actually use an opportunity to turn up.
Okay.
But I'm looking at this Brazilian team. Yes, they can go far. But what you say, coming to BBC Neymar, if you have to BBC a player at this level of the game, I think there are more problems than
that is. All right, let's take a look at the game for today. Ecuador and Qatar, of course. Qatar and Ecuador will be opening the game at 5 p.m. Nigerian time, 7 p.m. right there in Qatar. That's it. Today's game, Qatar and Ecuador. Senegal and Netherlands will be playing on Monday. That's also in Group A. But for these two teams, quickly, I'll go to Okpeyemi, who will maybe be watching it live. I don't know yet. But will you be watching this game live? Now, for you, Qatar, Ecuador, which will you go for? It's the opening game, and this is really important. For whatever's going to happen today, it shouldn't end goalless at all.
Yes, it will be a disaster having spent over $150 billion and you have a trap barring the World Cup opener. I think that would have been disastrous, and it would not have made any economic sense. Having said that, the level of confidence for the Ecuadorians, I don't know where it's coming from. You are playing, you recall, in the history of the World Cup, it's only South Africa that never made it out of the group stage. So I'm seeing in a group that you have the Dutch, who are my own personal favorite for the title this time. You have the Senegalese without money, the Ecuadorians who did well qualifying from the very difficult South African group, and then you have the host, the Qataris, who their only claim to fame when it comes to football was their 1981 under-21 final, where they lost in the final. So after that, they won the Asian Championship. So they don't really have that history. So maybe that is what has given the Ecuadorians so much confidence. You see them everywhere. What has given them that confidence, nobody knows, but I know for sure they are banking on their talisman, who got their equalizer last minute injury time against the Algerians, African champions then. So for the Ecuadorians, they have that confidence, which is all you need when you are going into the opening match of the World Cup. So with that, I see the Ecuadorians are going 2-1 better today, but definitely we are not going to have a goalless World Cup opening match. That would not happen after spending £150 billion. So the Ecuadorians have the stake today. So, and I think the second spot in that group would be between Senegal and Ecuador. So the Qataris might just be joining the South Africans. So South Africa finished third in their group, but the Qataris might just finish rock bottom of that group.
Yeah, interesting. Let me go to Ken right there. I mean, Ken, he doesn't want to see a goalless game today, which is the opening match. But we'll go to the other game, which is going to be on Monday. That's Senegal and Netherlands. Now, for Senegal, of course, Sadio Mane is out. There's nothing anybody can do about that. Not all the witch doctors they were talking about, you know, could be able to put him together for him to play for Senegal. Right now, the poster boy of Africa is not at the World Cup. He would not be playing for his country. Senegal against Netherlands. What do you think?
Well, I think when the story of this World Cup will be written, I just mentioned it there that the World Football of the Ballon d'Or winner, the World Football of the Year, is not there. The African Football of the Year is not there. Mm-hmm. We are talking about, of course, the Koreans managed to patch song together, and he's been training. He himself could have also, not been there. But the Netherlands are playing Senegal. I wish that match was the opener, because I'm just dreaming Cameroon, Argentina. I'm just dreaming, the same Senegal versus France in 2002. So, but they are their first African representative, African representative that will be playing in the World Cup this year. Out of Africa, there is always surprises. And why the best surprise is to start at, you catch there when you want to do. I'm going with Senegal here. The Dutch are one of the favorites, to pick this. They have a great side, and people said, okay, this is their time. I think they are the team that have qualified most at being at the final of the FIFA World Cup without winning it. They were there in 74. They were there in 78. They were there in 2010. I think they played 3 finals. Yes, 3 finals. They've not been able to pick it. Probably this will be their year. But even if they are going to pick their year, Senegal should do what Switzerland did to Spain. In 2010, fix them in their first game and come up. So, but without Sadio Mane, the team will look deflated, without their inspirational leader, without the best player that the country has, the best player that Africa has, and then going in there, it is like, what can we do without him? But then that is where you have a team. When they synergize, when they understand, when they band together and say, we are going to fight, we are going to go there and attack and defend M block, and think that Ali Cisse is still inspiring them. I believe it's going to be a battle. I'm going for Senegal in this. I'm speaking from my heart. My head can rest somewhere. I want my heart to lead me in this one. And let me see, for the heart of the Senegalese, the heart of Africa, we are going there to tell the orange that we plant and eat oranges in Africa, and that will be a delicious meal for the Teranga Lions of Senegal.
Monday afternoon, that's when that food, that delicacy will be cooked, right? All right, let's listen to former players of Super Eagles, of course, Super Eagles coaches, talking about African teams in Qatar and how good it is to actually having the 5 African teams going into the World Cup and being coached by African coaches. And not just that, most of them feel that, well, Senegal might just be the team that maybe, go far in Qatar. Let's listen to them.
Well, I just wanted all of them to do well, and I get to take Africa to a certain stage, which is going to be good for us. It might be very difficult for African team to win now, but I believe the nearest future we can, and we will just support every one of them to get to to a certain stage and all that. Well, it's very, very difficult. It's World Cup. It's very difficult to know. In the beginning, but as time goes on, when they are getting into the group stage and then into the second stage, one will know how far each of them will go.
It's always good to see the homegrown coaches taking over and doing their own thing. We wish them all the best, and I believe that African countries are going to do better than what they did the last 4 years. So we root for them and we wish them to go far, at least to be in the finals. Ghana is our brother, yeah? I believe Ghana can do better, but all the same, the North Africans are always good in these kind of competitions. So one of them is going to make it in the semi-finals.
Well, we can't say, but the Senegalese team looks a little more promising than no other team. But the World Cup is different from the Nations Cup. Everybody has to come and do the right thing and make sure they represent Africa well. I wish them the best of luck.
It meant a loss to all of us. I see all of us as Africans. But you see, I'll digress a little bit. Every time I hear the World Cup, Qatar 2022, I feel bad. I feel bad because we are not there. Well, I was saddled with responsibility, but it wasn't to be. Again, apologies. And when I hear Qatar, like you mentioned, I feel bad. But however, it is what it is. We've got some quality and strong teams. We just have to root for all of them and make sure they do well, and then try to work honestly from the bottom of my heart to make sure Nigeria is on the next one.
We'll make sure Nigeria will be on the next one. Obviously, we can't lose World Cup back-to-back. It's not going to happen, yes. Okay, yeah. Come on, guys. You listen to Miti Adepoju. He really can say, of course, Kanu Nwankwo, the legend, and of course, Samson Siasia and Austin Eguavoen apologizing again. Nigeria will not be there. But yeah, we have 5 other African countries. Ghana, our brother, they are right there. Our brother, they are right there in Qatar. I'll come to you, Jimmy, quickly on this one. You listen to these guys. Great way to say yes. Just came Senegal, North Africans. He says Morocco, that's the country he's rooting for because he loved one particular player. That's the reason. But then,
I'll think between Senegal and Cameroon.
Okay.
We've seen what Cameroon had done in times past when they, did the needful, representing Africa well, and also Senegal in 2002. So I would think that even without money, maybe the focus may not be on the single player, and they're able to express themselves better. So I think that the Senegal team may actually do some kind of wonders, especially when you have, the favorites in a particular group. The likes of Netherlands being in that group with them will enable them to give it their all.
Okay.
And at the end of the day, they may just surprise us. I think also Cameroon has got everything it takes. Most times I feel that the North Africans are not able to do, I don't know, maybe because of that Oyinbo, whatever, they are not able to, strut that stuff better enough to get results. So I'm rooting for Cameroon.
Cameroon, okay.
All right. A lot of people have not talked about Cameroon, really.
Yeah,
but I feel the Vincent Abubakar side, they've got stern stuff in them.
Okay.
Maybe not against African opposition, but when they go against, the Europeans and also the Asians, they seem to be able to express themselves better.
Okay, I mean, didn't Dutch just talk about, how far they will go, but African coaches, being in charge of players, their own team.
Yeah.
What do you make of it? This is really a good thing.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's the first time ever it's happening where all countries represent all five of them. I think when we had former captain on the show, Sunday Lise at the point, and he made references, but he played with most of these guys, and you can only wish them nothing but the best, But I still want to echo what Jimmy said. Looking at the group setup, I think Senegal still has the most realistic chance of coming out of their group, because the truth is, Okpe might see Holland as his favorite, but to be sincere, I've watched the Dutch team play, I've watched their star players, and they really do not impress me.
Okay.
To be told. I still think Senegal can come out of that group.
All right, quickly we'll look at Group B, and what do we have there? That's where we have USA. You also have England in their group. You have Wales, and of course you have Iran. And when you look at this group, it's pretty predictable. You can say, okay, maybe England and Wales, because, football-wise, yes, a bit big. You look at Iran, like, come on, was the last time we got to the World Cup? Then you look at USA. USA were not at the last World Cup, and they're mostly going with youth. Apart from Yardley, who happens to be, DeAndre happens to be the oldest player who has been to the World Cup before. Most of them are going for the first time. Pulisic, right? He is also going for the first time. So these guys were not in 2018, so the experience is really not there. But I will start with you. England, Iran will be opening match. Of course, that's for that Group B. Then to followed by USA and Wales. These countries, which of these will go out at the group stage?
Yes, Sisi, the Iranians, remember they shocked us in 2014. We played out the Golden War, and of course, it took an injury time goal for Lionel Messi to break the deadlock against them in 2014. So they're a very compact side. Carlos Queiroz, he was recalled. He was with them in 2014, and he was recalled after they sacked their manager to the team for this World Cup, and not forgetting the issue with the SCAF that has tainted the Iranian government. And you have certain players that were told to be dropped, that Carlos Queiroz should drop. But recall the assistant of Carlos Queiroz. He was with South Africa in that was in Mali, and he was supposed to lead them to Mali in '98. And the politician wanted to give him a list, and he said, "Look, if I cannot be in charge of my list, I'm not wanting to be called the coach." And he threw in the towel in South Africa. So they also have a very stubborn coach against a stubborn government. So that is the problem with the Iranians now. The issue of some players that are supporting the SCAF, some that are pro and anti-SCAF. But for England, we should expect England to have an easy group there. England will beat Wales, or England will not lose to Wales. That is but England will get the odd goal against the Iranians. So in that group, England will top that group, because England will not lose to Wales, and England will get the victory against the Iranians, who are more divided by the SCAF issue, and it's so unfortunate. And I think I'm not so perfect. Some players might just want to make a statement, just like you had the black salute at the Olympics in the 70s. So I see England getting the odd goal against the Iranian.
Odd goal. That means it's going to be a difficult game for them. Can we go to you quickly? USA and Wales. Or you want to talk about England, because you're right there. I see friends you like.
We say, look, that this is the same. Vengeance is mine, said the Lord.
Okay.
And everybody we talk about Ghana waiting to play Uruguay, whether it's the last match or not, that they want to play that match. But the first ever, CC, the first ever upset, one of the greatest upsets that ever happened in the history of the World Cup, happened on the 29th of June in 1950. On that day, part-time players from the USA, some of them were, students who were working a double shift, one working in a bar, other whatever, took on the mighty England, the way football refused to go home. And at the end of the day, it was USA 1, England 0. So they fear no foe, this USA team. The Iranians, I think the Iranians also, I can remember trying to pick up that match when they met on the international stage. I think that it was after the Gulf War. So where, okay, that should be Iraq, USA. I'm trying to mix up. I don't mix it up here. Yeah. So the Welsh team have not been to the World Cup since a 17-year-old Pelé debuted in 1958. This is you can imagine the last time they were there. They are going to go there. The Iranians are one of the superpowers in the Asian continent. Look at how many times they have won the Asian Cup, just like we're talking about our own AFCON. So it is going to be a kind of a balanced game. The US team, when they come to the party, people say the US is a basketball nation. Forget it. At a point, they rose to just where we're at, number 5 in the world. They were the team that stopped Spain. But you remember, in 2010, their unbeaten run, Spain unbeaten run, it was the USA that with US team, US coach, and one of them all. So when they go anywhere they want to go to, the US, they mean business. They are not going to just be part of them. They believe they can win the World Cup. Forget it. They will come in there and they do what they want to do. So that is a balance of powers. I can't predict who is going to win. It's a game you want to enjoy. The Iranians with their temperament, the US team with their comportment. So we are going to see them, counter themselves and enjoy the chess game that will play out on the pitch.
Quickly, guys, just wrap this up for me before we leave the FIFA World Cup segment. I mean, Wales, USA, England, Iran. Jimmy, you go first.
I think that group will be one where you have delicately poised games, where maybe we would have a couple of upsets. I feel also that a team like Iran, I think they are 20th or thereabouts on the FIFA ranking. So they really go
higher than Nigeria.
Higher than Nigeria. Really so I think a lot of people will be shocked to actually, like last week, we talked about Ronaldo and Messi. There are some things that don't eat you immediately, that they had not really scored in the knockout stages. A lot of things like that. So I think that, Wales struggling, some of the players, Ramsey and Bill, struggling for form and all that. Maybe we should just expect that England and either of Iran. I don't think Wales will go through. I think USA or Iran. Iran, they are known for stout defending. At times, they may let up eventually. But when it comes to defending, they are very stout at that. I think England is top spot. And I would think between USA and Iran, any of the two could actually go through.
Yes.
Okay. So he's not picking England. Okay.
No. I think it's England and
the rest. And any other one could join.
Well, I don't know. I think obviously England for me, although quite a number.
Will top the group?
Yes, England should definitely top the group. Should. Quite a number of issues be there with the team selection of players and
because they have a plethora of talents scattered
around.
Over.
So the coach decides to go up.
They're spoiled for choice.
But I can't be so spoiled for choice as to pick Kevin Phillips to the World Cup.
And then drop Avantoni,
Do you understand what I mean? I'm not spoiled for choice.
But there is Southgate decided to do that. But then again, at the last World Cup, the highest goal scorer, obviously, the English captain, talking about Harry Kane. I expect him to actually go on to score the most number of goals at this World Cup again. I just don't know why. England have a way of winning penalties.
In local palace, you are saying he will just use them to FIPA to score enough goals.
Just score, and but for the United States, I think they are young. They are quick, they are fast, and they want to prove a point. So I think they might end up finishing second. But the Iranians, yes, I don't know. Sometimes this World Cup is about names, and in as much as Iran,
and that's where the problem. That's where the problem actually looks to be at. Most times we focus on the names, but when push comes to shove, it will not be about the names. It will be about what you bring to the table on the match day.
What can you deliver? What is on paper?
Definitely.
Yes. All right. We'll leave it there, and let's leave the World Cup and talk about the country that is not going to the World Cup. Yes, the friendly that was played during the week where Portugal beat Nigeria 4-0. It's a friendly game, and it's actually the 4th time Joseph Pesero has lost his friendlies since he was appointed in May. Yes, it wasn't a good game for Nigeria, but Pesero said you can actually take some positives from the game, especially the second half when the Super Eagles came out to play good football.
Let's really talk.
Let's listen to Joseph Pesero if we have it. Yeah.
The first half, I think he didn't start well. He didn't show good organization. He didn't pressure the opponent. It's true, the opponent has too much quality, and that move, that dynamic, they create some superiority up with us. Sometimes you could go there in the front. Okay, I think sometimes you need to change more the game for attack other space. In the second half, much better. I think our team play other level, the second level. That level I want to repeat more for our team. Of course, you need time, you need a process, you need training. I think you show here against a big team in the second half, you can do much better. Of course, if you can do the 1-2, he missed the penalty. After that, you suffered 2 goals. Very sad, but of course, no, I'm not sorry to my players. My players try to do the maximum, try to fight for us. One good moment for you, see what you can improve. In my national team, in my team, no one player I allowed someone killing. He missed the penalty. Okay, miss. The next time can train him more and shoot the penalty. Okay, I need to defend them. We need to defend our players. Who player don't miss penalty in the world until now? Every player can miss the penalty. Was Dennis today? Okay, no problem.
Yeah, any player can actually miss a penalty. I mean, there was, after that game, people came out for Emmanuel Dennis that he shouldn't be a part of the team. Yes, top players miss penalties, and according to some people, maybe if we had scored the penalty, we wouldn't have considered 2 more goals. Well, it was just more like a training for Portugal. Jimmy, quickly, a quick one. 30 seconds, yes.
A charismatic gaffer.
You're going to break down the English, do not?
Yeah, our charismatic gaffer is shown passion, but he's giving us the real reasons why we failed to qualify for the World Cup. You know, he's established the reasons why our players, they exhibited listlessness, lackluster performance, very disappointing, very debilitating performances that we've seen in the past few matches. And I feel that, you know, Portugal discombobulating, decimating, pulverizing, flummoxing our team.
I begged you from the beginning. Break it down.
It's absolutely disheartening. I mean, well, you may say, yes, we expected that we were going to lose to Portugal, but losing in this kind of manner, I think that at this point in time, our boys have shown they lack motivation, the right, the right mindset going into games. It's very sad, but it is what it is. It's another embodiment of the fact that our football is in the doldrums, and we have not really cared about taking it out of the doldrums.
Okay.
As long as we continue like this, we'll continue to have these results, we'll continue to, react. We like reacting. We are not being proactive. Immediately after, not qualifying for the World Cup, what exactly has been done that is different that we've seen? Absolutely nothing.
Okay, good thing is that Nigeria is not the only country that's not going to the World Cup. After all, Italy, they are not going. So it's back-to-back, yes. The Italians back-to-back, they are not going. Algeria, not going. Egypt, not going. So take us, Nigerians. All right, Ken, I'm going to ask you about, the last time you talked about the fact that, yes, we haven't won any of our friendlies since Joseph Pesero took over, outside, of course, qualifiers that we've won. I mean, It's 5. No, he wasn't in charge of 1. He wasn't in charge of 1. We are talking about the ones he was in charge of: Mexico, Ecuador, Algeria, and of course the Portugal. I mean, if you add the other one, he wasn't the coach. He wasn't. So let's spare him, right? So quick one on this one. 30 seconds, Ken. 30 seconds.
See, there is nothing to talk about.
Okay, so we'll leave it.
In the last 7 matches that Super Eagles have played, we have not won any. In the last 7, we drew home and away against Ghana, lost by the away goal rule. 0011, and since then from Mexico to Ecuador to Costa Rica to Algeria and now to Portugal, which is a loss. I'm going down.
But we want some African qualifiers in between. Okay, let me go to okay, Okpeyemi, quickly, 30 seconds. Yeah, please.
I think I will take the positive from the scientific angle where they say negative plus negative gives you positive. Outside that, there is nothing inspiring about that match. And for me, my source of pain was because there was no organization. And the flagship of that disorganization was when we did not have a penalty taker. You saw players struggling for to take penalties, and I don't know anything. Yes, people do lose penalties. In a single match, Zico, Socrates, and Platini lost their penalty in '86, so it's no big deal. But are you the penalty taker for the team? Why the Chambolic thing were showing to relate to the work then? And again, for the penalty to struggling for jerseys after the match, I think we should be better organized. That is the only thing we should take out from there. This organization should spring action for better preparedness.
Thank you very much for closing that
please,
for us.
Sisi, let me just say something on this because Okpe mentioned it. I've been trying to talk something on that the jersey issue. I think it will be slamming Finidi for what didn't happen. From what I gathered, Finidi went to meet Pepe earlier that he wants his jersey because his son, Finidi's son, is a Real Madrid fan, and Pepe played for Real Madrid. So Finidi earlier met Pepe and told him, and Pepe said yes. Maybe he didn't understand whatever it is, but he said yes. I will give you the jersey for your son after, maybe by gesticulation after the game. That was why Finidi walked to him and said, "Oh, what why he was walking to him?" Finidi, Pepe was already exchanging his jersey with Moses Simon, and there was no dragging there. Finidi was not trying to explain from what we saw on the video that I told you earlier on that I will take your jersey for my son. So I think Finidi is being humiliated. They are saying he's dragging, he's fighting, and those words are just erroneous. They did not in any way display what transpired on that pitch. Finidi is a hero. Played for this country without any controversy.
Yes.
He's still reported to camp and did us. He does not deserve this by any Nigerian sport lover. And I'm saying it with all sense of decorum and all sense of responsibility, that this is not fair in the way they are portraying it. Negative sells, but in this case, Finidi did not fight Moses Simon for the jersey of Pepe. He only explained what transpired. Maybe what Moses Simon did not know, that there was a prior meeting between both of them on this particular issue. That's my view, my take on this.
Thank you so much for putting a better perspective on that. Okay.
Saying something.
I think we have to leave this discussion. Okay, we have to leave this discussion here. Thank you so much, Ken, for putting a better perspective on this. Quickly, before we leave the studio, let's talk about today is UNICEF is actually celebrating the Children's Day, the World Children's Day. And of course, in Lagos, there was a lot of activities that went on, the football match, kids being allowed to play. Before that, there's so many children don't have opportunity to play football. But what UNICEF Lagos is trying to do is to ensure that, yes, every child are able to have that opportunity to play football. FC Robo, the academy, were part of the team that played the football match. Also, you have Asisa Shola Academy also, we're also part of the children who came out to play on that day. Let's listen to Christian Mujati, UNICEF representative in Lagos, talking about this and how we can actually encourage our children to play whatever game they want to play.
We have millions of children that cannot even play, that don't have the opportunity for sports. And this is a strong message that we should let them participate and play. And most of all, that we should be inclusive. Today you see children with us that have different capacities. And because they have different capacities, this means that this doesn't mean that they should be excluded. We are today calling, talking, and singing and dancing for inclusion. All children are the same. all children need to have the same opportunities in life. And if a children has different physical, emotional, psychological differences, it doesn't mean that they're different. They are just with different capabilities, but we have to provide them the same opportunities. So you see, they're very talented, right? And they're very creative. So this is what we are embracing and applauding today, inclusion.
Yeah, it's all about inclusion for the children. Okpeyemi, Ken, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you, Sisi.
Thank you, Sisi. Thank you very much. Let's go Africa.
Let's go Africa. All right, guys, thank you so much for coming. I mean, Jimmy, thank you so much.
Children's Day, so being the youngest in the house. You know what to do.
Let students play. You are too old to play.
Now.
Thank you so much for coming on the program. And guys, thank you so much for watching. I'm Cecilia Omogbe. Have a fantastic day.